Hello everybody, it's Michael from Replica Airguns, bringing to you another tabletop review. Today we're looking at the KWC Makarov PM CO2 Blowback BB pistol. And this is the 4.5mm BB version, not the airsoft version. So far I haven't had the opportunity to take this gun outside and shoot it. There is no field test shooting video, so I can't really comment on its shooting performance other than the specifications given to me by KWC. I did also want to mention that this gun is available to buy in our Canada Replica Airgun store, so I will put a link in the description of this video, and of course over on the website where I'll have a written article with additional photos for you to check out there. Now this is a replica of the Russian Makarov PM. Let's get into some of the specifications. This gun features blowback operation and is pretty much an all-metal build. It uses 12-gram CO2 cartridges, shoots 4.5mm steel BBs, has a 15-shot full-size dropout metal magazine, has a 3-inch smoothbore barrel, shoots in single action only. This pistol weighs 1.6 pounds or 737 grams dry. That's no CO2 or BBs. It also shoots approximately 300 feet per second, which is 92 meters per second, and has a fixed internal hop-up system, at least on the steel BB version. Now this gun may be available in airsoft as well, and it might have an adjustable hop-up. From looking at the internals, it looks like the adjustment portion of the hop-up has been basically not installed on this gun, so it is fixed, but maybe again with the airsoft version that portion will be added to it. Again, this gun is made by KWC, and it is also made in Taiwan. Now mine came in the cardboard box that you see here, so we'll just take a quick look at it. All right. Specifications on the back. Okay. Pretty nice overall. Some information on the side there. You know, caliber, blowback, max velocity in joules, how many BBs are in the magazine, 737 gram. The length, and I believe if you want to get another magazine, that's the model number for it. Alright, so let's take a look. Also, you get this Allen key, okay, and of course you get the manual for the pistol. You know, everything you need to know not to do, right? Don't shoot people in the back. You know, that kind of stuff. Read the manual, of course. Don't point it at your face. That's never good. Parts diagram here in the back. More instructions on the other side. Loading. How to use the Allen key. You know, all your information. There's a field strip there. Okay. Yeah. Doesn't even show the hop-up, but I'll show that when I field strip it for you. Alright, let's compare this to a few other pistols. Now, sort of the epitome of Makarovs, or the go-to Mac, is the Makarov MP65K, and this is basically, from what I understand, constructed from similar parts that you'd find in a real Makarov, and so it's about as realistic as you can get. It's actual hardened steel. This pistol is as close as you're ever going to get. Like I said, it's actual hardened weapons grade steel. Field strips, of course, you can see very heavy recoil spring, pretty much the original spring you'd find on it, I imagine. Getting it back together is tough because it's such a tight spring, right? Even getting the slide to release once it's locked in with the slide catch release is really difficult. There it is. Such a heavy slide spring. You can see the extractor's been removed on it, right? Full metal barrel. Everything's pretty much all metal. This is a beautiful gun. No blowback. You know, out of the box, these guys aren't very accurate. They're not very powerful. I've heard that you can tune them a little bit better, make them shoot a little bit better, but that's not why you buy this gun. You buy it just because it's such a realistic version. Like I said, as close as you can get to a real Makarov. Everything's tight and a little bit rough, just like you'd find in a real Russian Makarov. Alright, next up we have, this is the original Umarex Makarov. Okay, Even the it doesn't lock back or anything because it doesn't have blowback, but it does have. I better make sure of something real quick here. I can remember how to get the CO2 on this guy. It's been a while. Oh yeah, there we go. It's been a while. No CO2. Didn't want to pull the trigger if there's CO2 in it. Single and double action on this one, so not sure if that's. This guy's going to have single and double action too because there's no blowback, right? But this one here, single and double action. You can kind of get the slide to hang back there by adjusting the safety if you want to sort of have that look, but it's not really what that safety's meant for. Safety's meant, obviously, as a safety, right? Well, usually, there we go, safe's on there. So, you know, not a bad gun. You do have an open ejection port, right? But you're not going to see all the way down because the slide doesn't go all the way back. But nice gun, you know, tab there. Got your stick magazine in this one. This, again, is the original Makarov and actually shoots pretty good. I've done reviews for this pistol. Shoots pretty accurate. Has pretty decent velocity for a short-barreled CO2 gun, probably because it doesn't have blowback. Here's the Makarov Ultra. This one is blowback, but as I've shown in other videos, not a heavy slide spring. You know, decently made for sure. Right, again, double check, no. This magazine is plastic and metal, a little bit lighter, but still full-size dropout. Does have the tab. This gun is single action only, right? So you can't shoot in double action, just single action. Does lock back on the last round. Does have an open ejection port, but you know, it's somewhat covered up. Slide doesn't go back as far as normally really would on a real gun. Maybe pretty close, but not quite full blowback operation. Again, not super heavy blowback because the slide spring's pretty light. But nice blowback gun from Umarax. Sold quite a few of these. Definitely nice. All right, and it is field strippable. So is this one. They're all field strippable. All right. Now getting to this guy, let's take a look at it. I will be comparing it back and forth a little bit. Just I want to show a few things about it. But again, here we are. This is the KWC Makarov PM, brand new gun, 4.5mm steel BB. May be available in airsoft as well at some point. A couple things I did want to mention. It is very realistic. Other than I would say the trigger guard's a little thick. So the trigger guard's a little thick, and I think that's because this is steel. This is actually metal, right? It's a lot of zinc alloy metal, whereas this Makarov has hardened steel, right? So that's going to be a little tougher. I don't know why it's so thick here. Maybe they had problems with breakage and they just wanted to make it a little heavier so they weren't going to get anything breaking on it. I'm not sure, but that may be one reason. Also, people have commented on the size of the base plate on the magazine, right? Kind of sticks out a little bit when you compare it to a real Mac size of base plate if you're looking at them compared to other guns, right? Like here again, this is more accurate, but then you got the tab. So maybe just to accommodate the CO2 and the internals of the BBs and everything, they had to make the base plate a little bit thicker. Not really sure. The magazine is quite nice and solid, all metal, right? You can see here, right? You got your nice and heavy too. The spring's really heavy. Everything on this gun in terms of springs has very firm springs. Okay. Alright, so pretty much done the comparison. I do like a couple things. Let's just look at it here real quick. You do have the recessed barrel, right? Get that to focus a little bit here. You can see right in there. Right? It is a little thin on the walls. This is like a plastic outer. It's a plastic outer. I'll show you that when I actually get inside. But you can see the spring, the slide spring is nice and heavy. Got a nice crisp release, right? Working safety. Single action only. Definitely a nice single action trigger. Just a little bit of take up and then it releases. A little bit of take up and then it releases. Okay. Got some markings on there. Just a look around. I'll talk a little bit less while we look around. Ejection, magazine release. All right, open ejection port. Trying to get this, hard to do with one hand here. And that's what happens when you do it the wrong way. Anyway, let's pop this back. Okay, I just wanted to show you through the mag well there. That was what I was trying to do until I started throwing magazines everywhere. Okay, beautiful gun. Alright, I might as well just quickly field strip it since we're partway there. So basically pull that down, and you can see in here, got your gas tube there, as it focuses. There it is. Okay, there's your slide spring, fairly strong. And I wanted to show you inside here. Okay, so this comes off. It's like basically a sort of a shell that goes around it. It's plastic because if it was metal it would scratch up real quick with the spring on there and everything. So I guess they've decided to make it plastic. Probably not a bad call. It's an ABS, pretty high quality. You'll notice you have your internal barrel there, and you can see at the back there, you see how there's that little bar that goes across? I don't know if you can see it. See how there's a bar on the top? That's your hop up. Okay, see that bar at the back there on the top? That is your hop up, and there's two reasons why there's hop up on this gun. When it creates backspin, you'll notice there's no hop up. Even though it's written on here, there's no little wheel. So it's been basically fixed on this version. Maybe the airsoft version doesn't, or has the little wheel in there to adjust it, but on this version it's just fixed, which is fine. It'll create a little bit of backspin, which is going to keep that BB shooting a little bit more level, a little bit more accurate. And the reason again for it, this backspin, well, it creates backspin, number one, but when a BB gets chambered, so when the slide comes forward, a BB comes out of here, right, out of this little portion here of your magazine, and gets fed into the barrel. So the basically the gas tube pushes the BB in every time the slide cycles, and if that little bar wasn't there, the BB would just roll out. So it has to be in there. It's on a lot of the KWC guns, even the BB guns, and it creates a fixed hop-up system, not necessarily adjustable on the BB guns, but sometimes adjustable in the airsoft versions. Alright, let's put it back together. You can't even put it off to the side with this one, but that's okay. There it is, we're back together. Nice gun, really nice. Alright, let's talk about some of the pros and the cons. This gun has full cycle, heavy blowback operation. I'm going to say heavy blowback even though I haven't shot it, just because it has a heavy spring and it is full cycle, right? It goes all the way back. You can see you get that full blowback like you'd find in a real Mac, right? So that's going to be heavy spring, full cycle is going to give you a lot more blowback than for sure the Makarov Ultra, the Umrex version. And again, that heavy blowback spring makes the slide feel nice and snappy when you're just not even shooting it, just playing around with it. I do like the all metal design. Pretty much everything about this gun is metal. Of course, there's going to be a few internal plastic parts. And again, it does have that full-size dropout metal magazine that holds the CO2 and the BBs. And as you saw, it's fully field strippable. And all the parts seem to function like a real Makarov, so that's nice. It does have the open ejection port and the recessed barrel. And there's no ugly CO2 tab on the bottom of the magazine like most of the other Makarovs. Now, just from dry firing this pistol, it does seem to have a really nice single action trigger with very little take-up, nice and light. It does have that internal fixed hop-up for improved accuracy and sustained elevation while shooting. Couple cons. It's going to have lower FPS because of that short barrel and presumably heavy blowback operation, so probably on a good day we're going to be shooting maybe 300 feet per second when the CO2 is nice and fresh. It's going to drop a bit pretty quickly once the gun cools down. Now, the magazine base, as I showed you, kind of sticks forward a little bit, maybe a little bit thick on that base plate as well, not as true as a real steel Makarov. And the trigger guard again is rather thick, thicker than a real steel Makarov. So a couple giveaways there, but other than that, this gun's very realistic. Again, you can buy this pistol in the Canada Replica Airgun store, so make sure to check out the description of this video, and if you're looking at my written post over at replicairguns.com, I'll have a link to buy it in the Canadian store as well there, along with additional photos. Alright, thanks for watching another Replica Airguns video. Don't forget to subscribe, Check me out on Facebook and Twitter. Username is Replica Airguns. Again, come on down to our ReplicaAirguns.com website where I'll have articles, posts, reviews there. Again, with some additional photos. I've taken a whole bunch for this gun. I thought it was such a beautiful gun. And of course, we have our Canada and US online stores where we sell air guns, BB guns, airsoft guns, pellet guns, blank guns, knives, and other accessories. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.